My name is Anna Cherry, and I am a cosplayer, camgirl, and adult performer and producer. Now, I first started camming around 2009, and it began as sort of a way to make money while going to college. And my partner and I were already very sexual and open to experimenting, and I was a bit of an exhibitionist, as it were. So we decided to give this having sex in front of strangers thing a whirl since we were already pretty active. Yes, camming is one of the main sources of income alongside my Patreon and other creative endeavors that involve cosplay and erotica, such as my official website, Dollhouse Online, Patreon. All of that is about a third of my income, and the rest is based on camming that Daddy and I do. I will admit, we do skip the occasional cam day to play video games and just hang out together and enjoy life. But we can make a pretty fairly decent income that allows us to support ourselves, and it is enough, and it sort of makes our dreams come true. I was always sort of a wild child while being sheltered, and that perhaps led to my interest in exhibitionism and voyeurism. My parents certainly were not surprised that I went into camming because I did get into trouble when I was young with other girls. But I didn't actually lose my virginity until I was 16 going on 17. Perhaps being more on the sheltered side growing up has led to the overabundance of exhibitionism that I indulge in on cam all the time. It's really difficult to recall the very first day of camming since we have been doing this for about 7 or 8 years now. I do remember the first week or month or so that it was only about $1 a minute in private, and just how hard I worked and how little I had to show for it at the end of the morning. But I definitely knew it was the job for me, and then just looked for a different site. I would say that some of my most memorable or fun, I would say, experiences are actually silencing trolls, where I frequently would have someone who is expecting to elicit a negative reaction out of me, and instead I sort of turn it around on them and I make fun of them instead. It's really fun to see their jaw drop, and very frequently I end up having people who came at me with what people would consider insults, and they left wanting to do a show with me or wanting to give me their money. So I managed to turn around insults into them being a paying customer. Webcamming is definitely a job. It is not necessarily for everyone, but I believe with the right coaching and tools at your disposal that you can pretty much handle any situation or atmosphere that a camming site can throw at you. The ability, of course, to set our own hours and to quit when we want to start when we want to do pretty much whatever we want to and how we want to during the show. That is extremely precious, and being able to have pleasure and to give pleasure to our viewers as our job is probably the biggest pro. The aspect of not necessarily being able to work when you don't feel your most energetic or positive or upbeat self, that is definitely a con that I would consider the biggest one. I get comments that my feet are perfect, etc., all the time. In fact, I have to have a disclaimer on my profile that someone on the cusp of the experience may get a foot fetish full blown. I also do cosplay. The two kind of got combined simply because I enjoy the hobby of cosplaying and just being a nerd, really. And I would say another niche that is kind of my trademark, or what you call it, whatever you want to call it, is that I have genuine orgasms. I do not fake, I do not squirt, I do not, do anything other than actual, genuine, physically observable female orgasms. Well, my family does know, at least my mother does know that my partner and I do adult work. They're fine with it. They're not forbidding me from seeing my younger sister, much younger sister. So they're not. It's not like they've classified me as the devil. On the other hand, of course, my partner is my co-star. We star together. We star separately. We star with other females. It's just something that is part of our job. That's just a really big part of our lives and our fun sort of sexual exploration that we do on our own anyway. Doing webcamming is pretty much the best thing that has sort of happened to us because we don't live in an ideal world where someone can just get a job on their skills or merit for being a computer engineer as my partner or being a neuropsychologist as myself. You can't just get a high paying job that'll allow you to travel anywhere and come to work anytime. That's just not how the current corporate structure works. It's just not. So being able to do camming, having done camming, actually allowed us to move, to take vacations, to travel to Florida or Chicago or Canada. There's really no other job I can think of that, other than being super wealthy and a celebrity and rich and all of that fancy stuff, that is frankly not real. Camming is the only really job that allows you to have absolute freedom. It's actually quite a liberating thing that has definitely made our life better. Absolutely. The biggest piece of advice I would give someone starting modeling is definitely do your research, do the reading, definitely look into it before you start, and prepare yourself one way or another to how to deal with people being extremely flattering and people being extremely unflattering. And I would also say the biggest thing about camming, in my experience, is as long as you're putting your best foot forward and you are providing a show that you are yourself would be willing to watch, then everything else is just let it go. Just no stress. Do not worry about it. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days. You have to zoom out of the minute to minute picture and just no stress.